Wednesday on Home and Family, fashion designer Carson Kressley shares his inspiration behind his Love Carson clothing line. And soccer star Kobe Jones gives a few pointers to our own youth soccer players. That's Wednesday right here on Home and Family. We're very happy, some of us more than others, although Christina's just beaming here.
Okay, that would be me.
Our next guest awarded the very prestigious NAACP Image Award for his role as Kerry Washington's mysterious father on Scandal. We are welcoming Emmy Award-winning actor Joe Morton to our very warm and inviting home.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Nice being here. Yeah. This is lovely.
I always say to people, you get the hardware, and I've got a couple of them, but they're at home, and I keep them sort of not just. Where do you keep your Emmy?
Right now, it's sitting in the middle of the dining room table. See, I don't live here, so I'm just here working. So it's in the apartment that I'm renting, and it's in the middle of the dining room table. It's a big glass table, and just sits there, and we don't use it for anything else.
Centerpiece.
Oh, wait, I'm going to call you out here. I'm going to throw a flag here.
Well,
what's happening?
That's called sleeping with the Emmy.
That's sleeping with the Emmy.
Oh, my gosh.
I see. You could hurt yourself with that. Those things are sharp.
Well, it's funny because I woke up the following morning and I said to my girlfriend, I said, I just had to go back into the living room to see if it was a dream. Did they actually give me the prize or not? And she said, I have an idea. So she said, get in bed with the Emmy, and she took the picture.
Where do you live, by the way? You don't live here.
In Jersey.
Oh, in Jersey. Oh, okay.
So tell us about when you landed this role in Scandal. Yes. It came to you in sort of a, I won't say scandalous way, but very intriguing way.
Well, intriguing, and also kind of following a path kind of way. If you see what I mean, I've always played good guys for most of my career.
By choice.
By choice, because when I first started in this business, most of the roles for black men were either pimps or drug dealers or drug addicts or whatever. And I thought, well, somebody's going to take those jobs. It doesn't have to be me. And what I wanted to do was start setting out a path of a number of different kinds of black men who were accomplished, who did other kinds of things. Did that for most of my career, and then came to a point where I thought I'd love to play a really smart bad guy. Came out to LA for pilot season, had heard of Scandal, hadn't seen it yet, and of course knew who Kerry Washington was. Started watching it on my computer on Netflix, and then thought, gee, I wonder if there's a way for me to sort of wangle my way onto the show. Not thinking about anything specific at all. And no sooner had I said that when the phone rang, and it was my agent saying, Scandal, I'm obviously condensing here, but Scandal would like to talk to you about coming onto the show. And I thought, oh, great. Talked to a lovely man by the name of Mark Wilding, who's one of the producers, and he said, we'd love to make you this offer. He said, but if we make you this offer, you have to keep a secret. And the secret was that at the end of that season, I would be revealed as Olivia's father. And they had me.
So, and you couldn't even say anything to Kerry, right? Oh, well, she probably knew.
She didn't know.
She didn't?
Nobody knew.
Wow.
None of the cast knew at all. Kerry would come in, she'd say, gee, I hope we have scenes together. And I said, well, we'll see.
So why can't we kiss? How come we don't have any kissing scenes?
So, let's, you actually brought something with Kerry that we're going to take a look at, a scene, right?
Yes.
Does it need setting up?
I believe it's the scene where she just shows up. She's been out of the country for a while. She comes back, and she just shows up at my door.
Causing some interest. All right, let's take a look.
Olivia, what's wrong?
I was in the neighborhood. I can't just stop by.
Are you in trouble? Are you being followed? Somebody forced you to come here?
Dad, no, I really did just stop by. For real.
You just stopped by to see me?
Yes, see? I brought you a coffee.
Well, then come in and I'll make us some breakfast. Come on. What?
I just stopped by. That's all. Just hello.
No, she didn't.
Well, she did. Well, it's about that scene turns out to be about re-entry. That she's come back to the country. As we all know, she ran OPA. She comes back. For those of you who haven't seen the first 2 or 3 episodes, close your ears. And for the rest of you who know that she comes back and OPA is no longer there, and everybody has different jobs. And so she's looking for her way back into the world. Right. And so she can't cross the threshold yet because she doesn't quite know where she is. And so that's the conversation we end up having, which is about re-entry.
I want to go back to something that you mentioned about the roles, and you made a conscious effort not to take the stereotypical roles of black men. That was when you were younger, right? When you first started.
In the 60s, yeah.
You made that decision then. And I jokingly said in our card meeting this morning, how long did he go before he
Could eat. Yeah, you could pay your bills. Yeah.
Because those roles were far and few between.
I
and yet you
did
held-
pretty well. I did pretty well. I mean, what I did was, well, as an actor, I started mostly in the theater. So to intrigue people, I would go to auditions. I didn't have any money, as you might imagine, and I would write my name on the back of a matchbook thing and just say, if you need to get a hold of me, that's where. And they always remember the guy who gave them the matchbook.
Instead of the 8x10 glossy,
Exactly,
right? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So that seemed to work in theater. And then eventually I started getting jobs in television, playing a sundry of different kinds of characters, but I did okay. You know, luck in my book is preparedness meeting opportunity. So I kept trying to set those things up for myself, and it seemed to work.
What was your big breakout role, though? Because I know, what was the one that
Brother
you did?
from Another Planet, John Sayles' film. John had written a film about a black alien who, well, I'll do it this way. John had a dream, and the dream was that this black man was wandering around New York City, and he realized in the dream the guy doesn't really know where he is. He's an alien. And then he had another dream of sort of old-fashioned sci-fi lettering. I don't know if I can say this on TV, but it's in space. They'll probably bleep that out.
That's okay.
But he realized that was him and David Strathairn.
Yeah.
And in 10 days later, he wrote Brother from Another Planet. And when he held auditions, the character doesn't speak. He has no facility for speech. So I thought when I met John that he would do some sort of improv so that he could see who's right for the role. Instead, we just talked for 45 minutes, and I basically told him the story of my life, which in short was that my father was in the Army. I was an Army brat. We lived overseas for most of my life until I was about 10 years old. And that when we were over there, his job was to integrate the armed forces overseas, which meant our lives were fairly complex all the time. He would arrive at these posts completely racially unannounced. At one point, he was even thrown in jail for impersonating an officer, because in those days, the Army was not fully integrated, and they certainly didn't have officers who were over white enlisted men. So that was my life there, and then we came back. He died when I was 10. We came back to the States, and I was in Harlem. I literally went from Dachau in Germany to Harlem, 155th Street and Edgecombe Avenue, and found myself fighting with young black men there. I had been fighting with young black boys when I was in Germany, and now young black boys in...
Why didn't they bring you into the community?
Because I was nothing like them. I spoke fluent German and Japanese. I didn't play basketball. Listen to the way I speak now. I didn't have any, there's no regionalisms in my voice. I was the stranger. I told that story to John. John realized I was the brother from another planet and got the part.
Wow.
Love
That's
that.
just
Love
wonderful.
that. Love that.
Thank you for coming
Thank you for
and spending
sharing
My
that.
pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I'm going to steal your hat after this. It's over. Scandal airs Thursdays at 9 on ABC, 9 p.m. You can catch Joe Morton's character's storyline on the ABC Watch app. We invite you to do so and follow Joe on Twitter at Joe the Morton.
Just steal his voice. I could then
know,
listen
right?
to you all day. Okay. It was a
just change
pleasure.
shoes
Thank
with
you.
you.
Lovely, lovely
Thank
meeting
you.
both of you.
It was
All
so
right, when
nice.
we come
Thank you.
back, since we're talking about space and aliens and whatnot, I'm going to take my kids. We're going to go out front. And I'm going to show you how to make a UFO for your house or for your yard. You better have a permit to fly that thing. We're coming back.